Hello out there, everybody. Welcome to the DeFiChain news show on the 26th of May, or in Singapore it's 27th already. I'm so happy to be here tonight in the complete new DeFiChain studio outset. So we had a couple of technical challenges, but I think we mastered them. The German one was a little bit a disaster. The English can get only better now. Most of you know me already. My name is Lord Mark. I am the host of the DeFiChain news channel, and I am very happy to present my co-host tonight. Like you know, I'm normally never here alone to present you the latest and greatest of DeFiChain. And let me introduce or let me welcome my co-host tonight, the world famous DeFiChain superstar, DC. Wie geht's?
Hi, Mark.
How are you?
Thanks. Really great. And every week a new toy on your tech site to play around in the show.
My wife's not so happy because that's how I spend my nights at the moment.
Right. Amazing. So in 1 year we are really professional and can do a show like on the big TV.
Hollywood's calling, Daniel.
Okay.
Fantastic. Cool. Hey, so happy to be here tonight with you and talk about the latest updates of DeFiChain. I think that's always a big highlight of the week. I think we should just jump right in. We've got so many topics. Half an hour is going to be over super quick, I guess.
Right.
Good.
So then we should start.
Let's start now. What's the first topic tonight? Let me play the jingle. What's our first topic tonight, Daniel?
The first topic is the full wallet, or the wallet because at the moment we have only one wallet. There is a big update coming, the 2.4 version, which is needed before the hard fork next week, because in the wallet there's a full node, and this full node must be updated.
Another update, another node update. Fantastic.
Yeah, and very bad news for all of you outside. You have to re-index or download the snapshot.
I wouldn't call it bad news, Daniel. It puts some excitement in my day every time. Is it going to work or not?
But if you follow the channels every day, there are a lot of people struggling with the re-index because it's abort, it's not finished. A lot of problems because it's a big data amount needed on the disk space. And maybe this is the good point with the update. The required space is dramatically reduced. So on the Windows system, it's about 45 gigabytes instead of over 100. So it's a big step can be run on more PCs before the light wallet comes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a good thing. We heard a lot of people were struggling with the size. And yeah, that's a great improvement. Fantastic. Yeah. We love it. One more thing, the block difficulty is gonna be changed to 1008 blocks. I think for most of us that doesn't make a big difference, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of the users are not really familiar with this.
Yeah.
We mentioned in the last show. So there's an adjustment in the difficulty for the masternodes, which is needed that the block time is nearly constant in an average way. Mm-hmm. Because if you have more masternodes, they can mine faster the blocks. So you have to increase the difficulty to ensure that the block time remains where it is. And if masternodes were shut down, you have to reduce it. And this adjustment was in the past 10 blocks, which is pretty less. We have some stochastical differences between the block time, and now they reduce it to 1008 blocks, which has two effects. One is that the block time should move towards 30 seconds, mentioned in the white paper also as the block time of DeFiChain. And with the reduced block time, so blocks are coming faster, all investors in liquidity mining or staking will get more rewards because there are more blocks per day. So
I think there's time for jingle. More money.
More money.
But the bad news about that is that the blocks get short, or the block time the block time gets shorter means also that that the adjustment of the reward is also faster. So at the end, it's more or less
So
the
more
same, right?
money and faster, less.
Faster and less money. Okay.
In some, it's the same,
Exactly.
but it's a good feeling if you see a higher APY.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so much about the update. So don't forget to do the upgrade. It's a mandatory one if you don't want that it got stuck somewhere. And then you're all set for the big software upgrade of the network. Hey, fantastic. So next topic. It's in some way a little bit connected, right, with all these other topics. So we do voting, so the masternodes vote on improvement proposals, on community fund proposals, right? That's the idea that everything is decentralized. Now, there was a thing that Cake is actually the biggest user of DeFiChain, right? They offer fantastic service to their customer. It's kind of a pooled staking service that they offer. Everybody enjoys fantastic yield. Everybody has fantastic service. And everybody was voting in the past. So the owners of the company, the founders like Yusin and Julian said, in the sense of decentralization, it would be actually maybe a good idea that all the customer who have like smaller stakers actually don't have the right to vote anymore, because it should be a masternode voting. And it's not really clear. Nobody can look behind the curtain who really voted. So there was kind of the idea, or some people said that could be like, there could be fraud, right? Or they just turn it and twist it in their way how they want it. And so the idea came to say, we want to be very transparent. Nobody can vote from Kate anymore. We've got enough masternodes out there, and let's vote the masternodes. What do you think about this? And what can you add to the story here, Daniel?
Yeah, so from my personal perspective, it's the right way. It's a good step. DeFiChain has a very strong connection to Cake. DeFiChain was also founded by Yusin and Julian, which are the owner of Cake. So there's a strong relationship between these two things, and now they want to break it step by step. One point is
break it in a positive way, right?
Right, yeah. So it's needed because a decentralized project should not have a single company, a person, or something like that in the background. Because then you can attack such a system by the person or company, and they want to break it. And there are some steps they are doing now. One is the foundation coin burn. So nobody has the private key to it. They will be burned and re-emissioned. Now they said, we don't want to influence the development on DeFiChain. This should be done by the masternodes. Nobody has to trust us that the voting is correct. So we are not voting. It's a big step, and so has also personally the drawback that I cannot vote now. I have not enough coins for master. So it had a little bit bad feeling for me personally, but the overall picture is positive for me. It's the right way. It should be an incentive for everyone with 20,000 DFI to set up a masternode, because on the other hand, Cake has the better yield rate. So now you have to think about, okay, how much yield can I, or is it worth to vote or not? It's a comparison between two things, which is not really easy, sure, but it's an incentive to go out.
I think it's a very important thing, right? So decentralized is not always the easy way, because you're kind of responsible for everything, right? So you cannot have the high yield, you cannot have all the service, you cannot have the voting at the same time, right? But there's a slight problem or a slight thing to think about. There are a couple of people who really stake a lot of coins at Cake, and they put them in the freezer, right? And now the question is, can the freezer users actually also vote, or because they can't jump out of the freezer anymore, right?
Yeah, so Cake announced nobody can vote, and then there was some feedback from users. What about if I had frozen all my coins in the past and now I cannot vote? So they will think about how they can solve it. Julian or Jusin will publish if they have found a way. So we don't know what they are doing, but they are thinking about a solution for these guys with 20K or more in the freezer, and has now the drawback that they cannot vote.
I find it fantastic. So Julian and Yusin are really in a big mission of them is to offer the best possible service. So Cake is not really our main topic here, right? So that's DeFiChain news. But they're working on it. I think Julian's going to come out with some announcements soon. But watch his space, watch his channel. That's his topic. But they are always open and very receptive to comments from the community. Cool, Daniel. Okay, so that's the voting story. What else is?
There was also one point which was discussed in the channels yesterday, and this is now we go out with the voting. There are just a few masternodes outside in comparison to Cake, so just 500, 600 external masternodes.
Just what is actually a lot, right? A lot of other projects don't have 500 masternodes.
Yeah, but we don't know how many persons are behind these masternodes.
Yeah, so I've got 350, so you've got the rest.
Yeah, right. So we too can now make the way of
DeFiChain. Reminds me more of the Muppet Show, huh?
Right. It's a thinking worth. Yeah, what happened if now a minority of masternode owners decide what to do, and the big community say that's not a way we want to go?
Absolutely, yeah.
Because if the voting is done, for example, if they say we want the community fund, it must be paid. It is voted. It's a result of a decentralized system. Yeah, you have to pay. And then my personal opinion is a hard fork is the solution for it. Yeah. So in the past there are a lot of blockchains with a hard fork because they are not.
There was no agreement amongst the community, right? And the developers, right?
Right. And this could be a solution just for you if you have now some doubt if it go in the right way. If now this minority think they should do anything what is not the best for DeFiChain, then it would split the community, I think.
I think it's very valid input, right? But for me personally, I think there's not so much risk. And like you said, worst case, there's going to be a fork. Bitcoin had this several times. Ethereum had this before. So yeah, then there would be a side chain and whatever, right? So or a fork. So yeah.
So the probability would be very low, sure. Yeah, but it is also worth to think about. Yeah, it's legit.
Absolutely. Okay. So we talk a lot about voting and community. So I think that brings us to the next point, community fund proposals. So a lot of community funds proposals are getting submitted at the moment. What we find is exciting and really great. Everybody put them up on Reddit already, some earlier, some later. So our call out is really, guys, please, all the community, go on Reddit, search for community fund proposals, read what the proposal submitters wrote there, vote it up, vote it down, however you feel for it. Ask questions, interact with the project owners, and figure out if you like it or not before you vote. And I think every question, even if you don't vote because you don't own a masternode, help the community to understand the project and voice if you think it's needed, it's not needed, or maybe just support them in some way to give them some further ideas how they can improve their proposal. I think it's very important. So not only watch, get active, interact.
Yeah, it's also a chance for the guys with the project to get some feedback if they are on the right way. I was personally contacted from from a few persons if they should make a proposal or not. And if they get no feedback, it's very hard for them to think about. So they need the feedback, and we too need the up and downwards to select the top 3 for a pitch show.
That's gonna be a next highlight. So after the proposals are selected, some people of you might not know that. So the reason is Reddit. We gonna take the highest ranked ones. We're gonna present them to the community. We call it the DeFiChain pitch show, and then you gonna meet the proposal owners, and we're gonna interview them. They're gonna show a little bit more. We're gonna check them out and see what's really cooking there. So it was a lot of fun the last time. And that's what we're gonna do. I had a question here in the chat because so Nirajan asked, are there any plans for an iOS or Android-based DeFiChain wallet app? Very good question, because first of all, there's a light wallet coming from the DeFiChain core development team. Pretty soon, it's going to be in June, and there's a community fund proposal that is also launching a mobile app. So yes, it's in the making, Daniel, right?
Right. They are in the testing phase. If you are interested, there's a Telegram channel which you can join, and then you can play around on the testnet at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's another interesting question from Michael. Michael said, do you think there are too many DeFi projects out there? Would it be better for the whole DeFi community to get behind a handful of projects? Daniel, what's your opinion on that?
DeFi projects in the meaning of other blockchains, or I got another point. Really.
I don't know. I would interpret it that way, that Michael thinks maybe there are too many new proposals on the DeFiChain. I would interpret it that way.
Okay.
Do you think we have too many?
No, I think not, because you can have a lot of projects if they bring value into the community or into DeFiChain. Maybe not all the projects are now worth for funding. Maybe
Good point.
On a later stage, that now the community say, okay, with the current stage, it's not worth. But just from a number perspective, I would say it's okay. Now we have 8 Reddit posts. It could be even more.
I think so. And sooner or later, there are going to be projects that are not going to get approved, right? And I think that's normal. And I think it's a chance to improve these proposals. Or maybe some we don't know. We don't need, right? But I think the community should decide, do they want these projects? Do they not want these projects? And I think very important is to ask yourself, do you think it adds value to the project? It's really about growing the community. I read a couple of comments. Somebody said, it's an awesome project. Where was it? Somebody said, it's an awesome project. Here, Andrew said, it's an awesome project. Now it's just to attract the market. This is one of the ways to attract the market, right? You offer tools on DeFiChain. You offer a lot of dashboards, promotion tools. We have learning tools. We've got like masternode services that are going to be offered. And I think the more of these services we have, look in other projects, they're just not existent. And this attracts people. So that's for sure a very strong thing that we've got here.
Yeah. And I like the progress also that we have more and more projects, because this is also a kind of decentralization. A blockchain is more than just the node or the wallet. There are a lot of things around, and now they are growing, and I like it. Yeah.
Guys, the reason why me and Daniel are doing this here, right? And I think that's a very important thing. It's all about the community. I had a very interesting conversation with a CTO from another blockchain recently. And she said to me, a blockchain without a community is not worth much, right? So it's really about the community. It's not only because the community buys the coin and drives the price, but it derives a lot of value out of the community, right? Because a blockchain is technology on its own, has no purpose, right? So we want to give purpose to it. And that's why we need a community, we need users, and that's why it's one goes together with the other. It can't exist alone. It's super important.
Yeah. Maybe 2 more points regarding the voting before we are now drifting away from this topic. Timeline.
But it's a really important thing.
Yeah, we can talk a lot of time.
You see, that's our passion,
DeFiChain.
Daniel, right? That's our topic.
Yeah. So it's
okay.
But news show. So what we should tell today is every proposal can be put on GitHub till the 1st of June.
Yep.
And the fee must be paid. This is also a requirement to get into the voting round. So you need a GitHub issue and the fee must be paid. This is the first step. Then on the 8th of June, there will be the starting point of the voting. There's a snapshot of all master nodes in the network. And these master nodes will vote 1 week over all proposals. And in the German show, you mentioned one thing for the master nodes, which is really important.
Yeah.
Maybe repeat it here also.
One block has to be mined before you can vote. So that's what Yusin told me today. And that takes you about, let's say, half a week on an average, because you can't really say when you get a block awarded, right? So take some time, set up your master node, and then vote. There's a very interesting question about the APY. Maybe I want to bring that up, Daniel, because I think we addressed it before. So somebody said, you can read it down there. Do you think it hurts the development of the master nodes when Cake has a better APY? So why should I create a master node get a 15% APY? I think that's what Daniel said before, right? So it's like, if you really believe in decentralization, your coin, your key, or your key, your coins, and you really want to vote and you want to be the master of your fate and whatever, then you have to have your own master node. If you want to rely on a centralized service that Cake offers, and you want like convenience and zero risk, you have to trust those guys, right? I mean, even they're very trustworthy, but you don't hold your coins, then you can go only left or right. It's like you can't have the cake and eat it at the same time. You have to make a decision. You want convenience or decentralizations. And decentralizations is not always giving you the best returns, and it's not always the easiest way. And I think that answers the thing quite well.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Nothing to add.
Cool. Yo, so yeah, voting is coming up. Daniel, Julie and Yusin said they're gonna think about the voting for the freezer users. We mentioned that already.
Maybe there's another question which you could show.
Okay,
the last one.
Let me have a look. Where is it? Here we go. From Prince. This one.
Right, because I saw this question a lot of time the past day. So now the users see that they cannot vote and want to create a master node, but they don't have the 20,000 DFI. And the question is, could the collateral be reduced? And the answer is very simple. Sure, it can be reduced. We need a DFIP, a DeFiChain improvement proposal, and the master nodes must vote. Yeah? There's no instance company person who can decide it. It must be voted by the community.
Absolutely. Good. Some more questions here. Let me see. Did you forget something? No, that's it.
No.
Good. Yeah, Daniel, anything else that you want to mention, or have you got covered everything?
I think we have covered the topics which we have written for this week. Next week, we should have a look into the proposal just as an overview. So
we're gonna do this.
Please go on Reddit, vote up and down, put your proposal on Reddit, that we have the best picture next week, and we will talk a little bit about the projects in the upcoming voting round.
Absolutely. That's going to be a big one. And then the next one is going to be on-chain already, so it's going to be changed again. And then we've got the Light Wallet coming up in June, and there's so much going to happening, and you're going to... Oh, guys. Watch this space every Wednesday now. There's a lot to talk about. Guys, thank you so much. Thanks for bearing with us tonight, even if we had a couple of smaller technical difficulties here, but we're going to improve on that. Thanks for joining in. Daniel, it was awesome to have you tonight. Thank you so much.
Thanks. And we talk next Wednesday again about DeFiChain, right?
Absolutely. Good. Then, guys,
So,
thank you very much and have a nice evening.
bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Not working.